trying to get their new parts working for them together. So I'm going to have to give it to the Direwolves here.
And what about yourself, Frey? You think also the Direwolves?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely going with the Direwolves. Sin need to pull it out, guys. They've started the season pretty horribly. However, we will see whether they can get it together tonight because we are ready to get into game one. So here is Atlas and Ruster to take us there.
Thank you very much, Spawn. And look, I'm really glad that these guys are talking about the Direwolves because their macro play, especially the last time we saw them, looked beautiful.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives. Game number 3, I believe it was, in their last best of 3 was where they looked at their best, but number 2, they looked completely out of sorts. And
good point.
That, to me, comes back to what we just spoke about on that analyst desk, being the polarizing nature that is Sybil. Not only his champion pool, but also just the way that he plays, because that Elise was far greater than that of his Zac, which is a signature pick of his. So there's a lot of questions for Sybil as a jungler. Can he step up to the plate and actually make what is potentially a superstar team, an actual superstar team?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you can actually see, this is what I was going to raise about Sin, was their previous sort of team comps that they have been putting together. They've been leaning towards this Orianna pick, which is interesting. Most definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely curious. I mean, they had a couple of unusual picks in it, as Ramos is actually looking quite scary there.
Yeah, the man... He wants to murder that guy in the mid lane on the other side of the rift. Fantix always sort of draws some fear from his opposition.
He draws bans at the very least.
Damn right. Well, Vladimir is, of course, going to be the first one here from Sin. And on the blue side as well. Normally relegated to sort of red side bans, making sure that you don't get that powerful first pick. Kindred is going to leave the hands of Juves. Has seen some success on the champion.
Yeah, quite a strong Kindred player. He has that Rek'Sai in his back pocket also, and curiously, they are banning away from Juves. Will they commit to a strategy that is basically just ban him out? No.
Well, Maokai is actually going to be hit here as well. Of course, Squiggle, a notable tank player. Shout-outs to his Mundo back in the day. There's Sin looking for their final ban. Fizz is going to be taken away from both Chippies and Fantix. They've both played it. Zed's going to be banned away from Rymeister. So definitely changing things up. Swain has been left through, though. That is definitely one that we've seen on the bench a whole lot so far.
Yeah, and with Fizz banned, it's entirely possible that they look towards it.
But it is going to be the Trundle locked in first here from Sin. See exactly what's going to be picked up next. I mean, Rek'Sai's available. Elise is available for Sybil.
Well, so Sybil does have options, and yes, his champion pool may seem limited, but he's still got the good ones left as far as Sybil is concerned. They may not look towards a jungle early rotation simply because there are that many available.
Yep.
Perhaps the priority lies with Ezreal for Raze, maybe even a support option. And there's still plenty to pick from here.
Ezreal Bard seems like a good idea on paper.
Yeah, well, the question is, do they want to pick both of them now when they can go towards a safe option like a jungle and top lane first draft, where it doesn't reveal a lot?
Ooh, Karma is going to be picked up here by Regret. So you're right, holding their cards close to their chest for the moment. One thing that's really, really important to note, Rusty, is the fact that Twisted Fate is available and Direwolves are on the red side.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that they might look towards. The Sin are moving quick.
Yeah, that is Rek'Sai and Nami locked away immediately by our blue side team and not giving away too much as far as their comp is concerned. Still got the AD carry and mid laner to pick up.
Same thing for Direwolves, however. They should ideally go towards their top laner here with their AD carry. They know what the top lane matchup is going to be now that Nami's locked in. It's not a Trundle flex.
Yeah, true.
They also know who the support is going to be on the side of Sin, that it's a little bit poke heavy, and Ezreal's always going to excel against most things, as does Sivir against the bubbles.
Oh my god. Chippies. Aurelia's in the meta, and you pick Jax?
Yeah, well, Jax is arguably the better competitive version of Aurelia.
That's a good point, but he's Chippies. He's the Aurelia guy. Okay, well, it's okay, because Jax is also super fun as Lucian. Took a little bit of a hit in that piercing light damage, but is still very strong and is going to be locked in here by Raze as well.
Yeah, so with knowledge of the matchup as well, perhaps Chippy's opted towards the Jax v Trundle. The sides that he likes, I remember Trinity Force did a lot of work with Jax, and in patch 6.11 they changed how his passive works, so that it drops off one at a time instead of just goes from 6 stacks or however many stacks to 0 again. Gives a bit of a window of freedom for the Jax. Chippies will be looking quite good on that. And the Lucian with it, remember, a couple touch-ups, 100 range on W.
Yep.
Width and length, I believe, on the Q, something like that. But the auto attacks are still strong. The cooldown reduction still quite beneficial. And the culling still hurts when you go the Korean build.
Damn right it does. And Raps Doesn't waste a lot of time. Locks in the Ezreal. No hovering. Just wants to lock that guy away. Of course, makes a lot of sense. And Orianna again from Sin. Rymeister saying that, yes, we are going to prove that this is going to work. And locks it away. Now Fantix. His choice.
And it's not that I disagree with an Orianna pick. I think Orianna is good at the moment. Sure, itemization helps out a little bit. You can go for the Morellos and have the AP equivalent of what was in Athene's where you missed a bit of it and had resistances.
Yep.
But because there is an Azir, there is a Victor available, there is a LeBlanc available that Rymeister we know can play, he still opts towards the Orianna is the big question mark that I have. And something that Sin always seemed to prefer is his Rek'Sai Ori combo.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Fantix, of course, I mean, we didn't really need to talk about it because he's going to lock in Twisted Fate if he's going to be last pick on the blue side. That is just, the red side, because that's just what he's going to do, especially into a control mage. This could be very scary. He's taking Ignite as well.
Yeah, and this is something that Spawn's actually touched upon, the strength of Karma in the current meta. And as an early rotation for the Direwolves, they can afford to be a split-pushing team now.
Yeah.
Because Karma gives them wave clear in situations where they otherwise might not have enough of, given that they have a Lucian there. Pretty clever. Instead of going for a Caitlyn, you can be an aggressive, fight-heavy AD carry that Raze will always want to do. It's just kind of how Raze is, and Regret compensates for that quite nicely with his Karma. And now as a well-rounded team composition that the Direwolves have actually constructed, they've got 1-3-1, and the 3 is still competent.
Yeah, most certainly. And do you think that Sivir might have worked a little bit better there just with the extra wave clear?
Yeah,
or do you like Lucian in the
again, the
case as
Karma still compensates for that thing, which was potentially the one weakness.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to get onto Twitter. Let us know who you think is going to be able to take down this series. Use that hashtag SinWin if you're on the Sin hype train, if you think the Orianna can work. Or if you think the Direwolves have got what it takes, use that hashtag DWin. Of course, celebrate Chippies in his home habitat, which is fighting people on the top side of the map. And if any champion wants to do it, it's most definitely the man with the hockey stick that you saw towards the top lane.
Yeah, the mighty Jax in the top lane. So it's going to be an interesting matchup to say the least. Chip, as you mentioned, that he likes the Aurelia. But what I like to think is the more competitively relevant champion in the Jax. Still going to make his mark.
Yeah, most certainly. We are going to get onto Summoner's Rift here, ladies and gentlemen. Fantix on his signature pick as well. Juves, of course, able to get around the map as well using that Void Rush. So we'll see whether he can answer the destinies that are going to be coming out. But it's so scary seeing Fantix on Twisted Fate because he's just so adept at the champion.
He definitely is. Direwolves are now going to invade. My big question, honestly, is while we're looking at Keystone Masteries, and someone should actually tweet this at me because I can't confirm that right now, but Jax, with his empowered QW, would get 4 stacks of fervor immediately.
Yeah, pretty much, I think.
I think that's how that would work. I haven't played Jax since the fervor was out. Or ever, really. Jax isn't that exciting.
I like Jax. I think Jax is very exciting. Especially if you go Spawn's build. The third item, Death Cap. After your Trinity Force Gunblade.
These guys mean business with their pings. You all calm down. They're getting lane swap vision. Everything's fine. Use your words, guys.
There's definitely a lot of that lane swap vision coming in here. You can see Direwolves pinging frantically towards the bottom side of the map now.
Yeah, they're getting knowledge of where the AD carry support duo is from the side of Sin. The onus is on them as to whether they want the match now or whether they want the opposite. Watch how the Direwolves are reacting to this.
I don't know which team actually wanted the lane swappers. Oh my god, Rogue takes so much damage. The bubble's flashed by Raze. The exhaust has to be used. They really wanted that kill as Regret takes a Mystic shot.
Yeah, that was very aggressive from Direwolves. Regret actually threw his Q a little bit early, I would imagine. But a lot of damage down onto the Nami. Forces 2 summoner spells on the side of Sin. Only 1 on the side of Direwolves. It is the flash from the low-range Lucian, however. Susceptible to those ganks. If Juves can get in.
Very true. Do Direwolves maybe have a room here at level 1? Just with that bubble being taken first from Rogue?
A little bit of wiggle room. Karma can out-trade. The bubble's not too useful. And Sustain is lacking until level 2, but I think the bubble's actually fine for level 1 spell.
Alright. We'll see how this lane is going to pan out. At the moment, Raze behind a little bit in the farm, but not too much to worry about.
Spike.
Yeah, that's very important.
Nothing doing, honestly. It'll reset and he'll be maybe 1 behind if he misses all of these.
Raps looking pretty comfortable right now as another bubble is going to go slightly wide, forcing Regret and Raze to move around though, just a little bit. Ebb and flow now picked up as level 2 was gained, and Sybil in this river. We're going to try and
Has
ruin
a
the
good
Troll's
spot,
day.
though. Yeah, he's trying to hide out a vision that isn't actually there yet from Squiggle. They'll pick their moment now that he's level 2 on the Jax.
Yeah, and Counter-Strike is going to come in. There's the Leaf Strike. They get the stun. Squiggle flashes, but the Cocoon, oh, it's going to miss there from Sybil. The red buff still doing work as he flashes forward. Does get the extra auto attack down. Can he get the Q? No, first blood goes to Chippies. Flashes
Sybil's
out of the way.
dead.
Sybil, no! Oh, the Titanic moment. It happened as Juves probably doesn't want to fight that Jax right now.
And Sybil tanked for Chippies. Sybil actually tried to let Chippies get the kill, get out with his life. He does that, but he pays for it with his own by tanking 2 shots instead of 1 and the minion wave hitting him all the same.
It was still beautiful.
It was the right idea, just flunked the execution. All things considered, though, it's double buffs lost where Juves has his own. Oh,
that was
got him.
so cute from Chippies. Oh, God, okay. That's some smooth moves.
That was definitely impressive from
Throws
the
out
Jax.
the taunt as well. However, you can see this Sin bottom lane doing some work against Raze and Regret. However,
Might have
Sybil's
Rogue
making
here.
his way in one more time. Yeah, Rogue is going to get snared up. In goes Sybil. They have eyes on the fish. They are going to be able to lock her down. Raze going to follow this one up. Sybil's just already out of there. Don't
Yeah, he
really
knows.
care too much.
No summoners available for Sin's support. Throws the Cocoon with complete foresight that they wanted him, as this is where Juves wants. He could get this. Summoners are up. With a Twisted
Already.
Fate, and they actually pinged that Juves is there, so never mind.
Throws in the red card as Juve's not going to go in for the gank.
But the way that Fantix is posturing is that it has to be a flash unburrow, and that's predictable from Juves, and the Sybil on his Elise is close enough. So he's hovering on the bottom side, as far away as possible from that Rek'Sai.
Nicely played. Fantix is going to look for a blue card here. Clears out the minion wave. He's still ahead in farm despite being so far down in money. Looking to break this freeze. Of course, doesn't have teleport to get back to lane here this early on. He wants to be able to get himself a free back, get back that health bar.
Yeah, not in an ideal situation, but he will get back. Mamice is just posturing very forward.
Yeah,
No
Sybil
ignite.
Still looking for the Cocoon, doesn't find it.
Juice has Burrow. He could look for it. I don't think he wants to. Realistically, what Juice should do here is just stop Fantix from recalling, but instead goes to the Raptors.
Just continue farming things up. Direwolves now, as the situation has unfolded, are ahead by a few hundred gold based on that kill towards the bottom lane and the top side. But it bought so much space for this Direwolves bottom lane. That is a big deal because they were getting pushed around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Regret and Raze being high burst between AD and support as well. Rogue struggling. But they have sustain, so the edge is actually still in favor of Sin if every trade goes even. It's more the fact that Sybil was there last time to secure a kill. It's the exact opposite of even.
Yeah. Also has to be mentioned that the Infernal Drake is going to be Dragon #1 for both of these teams. Lots of secure on both sides. Of course, level 6 is going to be important for Sin as a bubble connects onto Raze. It's a nice bubble that comes down though. And there's the Q damage out of Regret. Must have a lot of AP because that did a big chunk.
Yeah, he's also upgraded his support item straight away instead of going for any kind of Sightstone item. Direwolves now moving very proactively towards the first important Drake, being a fire.
Yeah, and Destiny has been hit here for Fantix, so he is going to be able to rotate in if he needs to. There's the Mantra Q. Arcane Shift has to be used defensively, and Direwolves lock down the Dragon.
Yeah, Juve's not going to be there in time either. This is where it starts to potentially unfold top lane.
And Subjugate actually out here as Chippy's going to say, all right, we'll trade that. Doesn't even use Grandmaster's Might here in order to keep himself healthy in the trades.
Not a bad idea, honestly. Save it till afterwards if you want to prolong a trade. Get resistances immediately after, instead of using it and getting them reduced.
Yeah, and I think Trundle gets more if you've got Grandmaster's Might and then you get Subjugated.
That's exactly what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
If you use it and then he ults, then he'll get more from it.
Yeah, I like it. He's going to be able to grab himself a blue buff. Makes himself a little bit late. You can see Fantix now just starting to clear out waves, build towards that Rod of Ages as well. So having that Catalyst gives him a lot of staying power in this lane.
Yeah, which is quite important. Even the refillable potion. So looking to be as efficient as possible with not getting bullied around. Rhymeister, even with a slight edge on having that blue buff, doesn't amount to a lot for him in laning phase. Still, Sin would be looking towards the 1 to 2 item spike for their Orianna, not really killing him right now.
Nails those runs as well. He'll be able to pick up a little bit of extra farm. Juves takes himself down. Rift Scuttler and Sybil and Regret invading here towards the bottom side. Red buff is available. Going to be able to take this one down. You can see Fantix just positioning towards the bottom side. Locks that one down.
So they could be 4 men strong, knowing that Rhymeister doesn't have teleport as well. Potentially look for dives, knowing that Elise is here. 0, 1, 2 actually quite big. Juves is just a mid laner now.
Yeah, that's trying to get another shove in.
That means Rhymeister wants to recall usually. That's the only thing that could indicate. He's not even going to check the bush. Recall's next to a pink ward.
A little bit silly.
Recalling 101.
See the red buff not quite available just yet. Fantix, look at him preparing these minion waves. Oh, he's just a joy to watch farm. Just a joy.
There's one thing Fantix does, it's farm.
Yep.
He's always been exceptional at that.
What's
Right
he looking
now.
like at the moment? He's sitting on a 9.0 average as far as creeps per minute. His first Fizz games didn't quite get him to the point where he wants to be. Of course, average last split 9.6, highest in the OPL.
Farms a lot of minions.
Yeah, I think Luch is actually ahead of him on average now, though. That guy, man after Fantix's own heart.
Well, Fantix doubles up as an assassin player.
True. Well, you can see Chippy's taking a lot of damage from Squiggle here. The Grandmaster's Might does come out as the Subjugate is already ticking down. Chippy's pressured out.
Yeah, but he's overstayed his welcome for far too long here. And he's still on the exact same items as the last time they fought each other. So we'll be able to get something in his back pocket now and be feeling a bit better for it, as they're looking for a dive.
Yeah, Sybil is going to nail the cocoon, but teleport immediately comes out, then gets cancelled straight away as well. So Squiggle will have the teleport advantage because Chippy's just got back to lane using that one.
Sort of. It's a slight edge, and that's in a few minutes from now. Right now, both of them are not actually having teleports. Means that Chippies will get himself further ahead and put some pressure maybe onto the turret before the Trundle can even respond. And Direwolves aren't done.
Yeah, they've come back. There's the bubble, but oh my god! Raze just destroys him. Sybil!
Regret needs to tank this.
Yeah.
Oh, the Spiderling temple.
Yeah, just out of the way. Yeah, Spiderlings are going to come down first. I believe that was a change, but thankfully going to work out so far for the Direwolves. That burst damage was just out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. They just obliterated Rap's health bar. Even with the flash up, he didn't actually think he was going to get cocooned. Rogue dodging it, of course. Predictive stuff from Sybil, looking for the Nami, you would imagine. Finds himself the unsuspecting Ezreal and dies before he can even react and think about what his next move is going to be. Rogue also probably about to die to those minions. Before the Ezreal gets there. Very interesting start. And honestly, it all comes down to the jungle role. Sybil, we called him a polarizing player. Well, he's definitely on.
Oh, yeah.
In game number 1. He's giving it to Sin. Juve's always one step behind. And that's not to discredit Juve's either. He has good game sense. He always gets there. But Sybil is just proactively always there in advance.
Yeah. 100% kill participation on both sides of the map. As he is also the one death for his team. Fantix starting to build a lot of wave clear. Rod of Age is done. Was done by about 10.5 minutes into this game. So
he's already ulted. He's in bottom.
Yep. There's the Destiny. Gold card is going to easily land, and Raps is so dead. Raze grabs himself another, uses the culling 3-0-0 with the Ghost Blade already built up. Direwolf starting this one off beautifully.
And like clockwork, they knew that Rogue had recalled on the Nami. And that means that if Rap shows up in lane, he's going to be alone. So they send Sybil down in advance. Rogue.
Yeah, they found the fish one more time. Bubble doesn't land as Sybil's going to get a lot of damage down. The flash forward, Fantix locks him up. It is going to be at least that picks up the kill. Doesn't matter too much. Tower's going to fall down as well. And Direwolves just adding insult to injury across this map.
And this is just a well-rounded game number 1, honestly. Very impressive from the Direwolves. The Sin roster have no answer at present. As Orianna still struggling to scale, doesn't run teleports, so can't help the team. And as if everything then goes from bad to worse. I question the pick simply because it's not as strong as Victor or Azir right now. And whilst he has lane control, that ran out the second he had a Catalyst. Victor doesn't have that problem. You throw a single laser, you clear the wave. You can then disappear. Not to be seen.
Direwolves now going to start off their first Mountain Drake of the game. Infernal into Mountain. Things going pretty well here as far as the RNG gods are concerned. Direwolves with full control of this area given the fact that they took down that outer turret on the bottom side of the map. Ghostblade's popped. Raze is going to be able to easily help take this one down. Oh, this trade of Pink Wards. That Pink Ward has done a lot of work for Sin so far.
Yeah, I mean, Rymeister's got control of the middle lane. Plain and simple. He's 20-odd CS ahead, and that's only growing. Because the mid laner of Sin has one purpose at the moment, that is farm. He's doing it very well, but right now, it is a Trinity Force Jax, but he's getting dove.
Yeah, it does have Flash, has to use it to get out of the way of the Shockwave. Rymeister just eats up every single last creep, and Sin will be able to lock down this outer turret towards the top side of the map. So able to get something back.
And they've also got Nami farming middle lane right now against the Twisted Fate, who doesn't have his Destiny. Will be up reasonably soon. It also means that they force a single flash.
Oh, Culling comes in. Regret actually trying to stop this one as Juice takes a lot of damage. The snare comes in and Squiggle just wants to make his presence known right now, honestly. Rymeister's going to make his way around. There's the flash forward, picks up the kill as Raze has to flash away as well. Really wants to find his way towards something more as, yep. Juice not going to quite get there. He's actually got a Sheen, does Raze, so a lot of extra CDR. Looks like he might be going for a Trinity Force.
Yeah, potentially. Of course, Trinity Force changes might work nicely with Raze instead of going Black Cleaver. It was something that we thought about, perhaps speculated. I played a lot of it mid lane for no reason and thought it was good.
Yeah. You often go ability power after that.
Yeah, but you start with the Trinity Force.
Yeah.
I thought it was good as an AD option. Either way, I think it's actually quite good.
Into Duskblade, third item.
No.
Damn it.
Not at all.
One day, Rusty. One day. Sybil is going to start off the Raptors. Juice is here, though. To lock this one down. He does manage to get it. Big Raptor going to Sybil, so Spider Lady winning out this time. Destiny is available, and Fantix can move across the map if he wants to.
We're still seeing a movement now from Rymeister. He's felt that sense of urgency and walked towards top lane, forced a flash, and then went back in himself and gets that kill locked down. Still, Sin's major point of winning the game, which is always Rymeister, is starting to show up.
Oh, yeah.
He can probably 1v2 them, honestly. Already has no mana. I think Rymeister will 1v2 them. He shouldn't be staying.
Just needs to chill. Just doesn't have a lot of chill right now. Never mind. Does have at least his jungler's presence and a Destiny from the mid lane if they need it. Juice spotting people out. There's the ward from Regret.
Wow, yeah.
That's a lot of vision.
That's
a lot
a
of
mega
vision
dead
gain.
ward.
Super dead. Regret says, well, my pink ward's fine in this brush. So
Rymeister knows that he's recalling as well. He was completely out of mana, so it's predictable to say that he's recalling. Actually, just now that he's not in the position he needs to be in. He cancelled it. He was scared.
Juice able to take down a pink ward there as well, as Raze getting forced entirely back to this inner turret. Is in fact Rymeister running very fast after him. They're not going to find it.
Yeah, but that's mostly because, again, he is completely out of mana on that Lucian. Fantix could look towards him as an option. He has a Sheen himself, but now needs to address the minions in the middle lane, so the decision-making from Rymeister is valid. As Sin are now starting to pull Direwolves around the map. This early game pressure that they built up for themselves has a nice lead, has given them the 2 Drakes, but Sin are starting to push back and find answers.
I think stagnating just a little bit. Of course, whilst all's said and done, Chippies has got himself a slight CS lead. Trinity Force now acquired to the Jax and is creating some pressure here towards the bottom side. See whether he will be... Oh my god, he's just waiting. Just waiting.
He'll get those minions though.
The red dot call is too loud.
Also just not make sense to leave them.
That's a very good point. Don't know why I decided to go with the red dot call.
Also Titanic Hydra from Squiggle this time around on his Trundle. Didn't go towards Ravenous into any kind of build that would involve resistances afterwards. Just go straight tanky immediately.
Yeah, and what does Titanic Hydra tell you? Does it say more team fighting? As Sybil's going to get caught out, the rappel immediately up into the air as he goes down, flashes the wall. He's going to be okay for now as the shield comes in from Regret. It's a flash down, but they get a lot out of Sin.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage, honestly, though, onto Sybil, forces him to recall, which means they have a numbers advantage. However, Fantix with his blue buff means getting turrets is pretty much a pipe dream that they should never actually achieve. And they disengage.
His movements are just always so aggressive. Frightens me watching him. It's like he's going in at all stages.
But that's
Chippy's
like-
going back to base.
That's what makes it good.
Yeah,
If you think about it, if he's always aggressive, you never know if someone is there.
good point. Juice hanging out, doesn't want to clear out the minions. As Raze might need to be careful. Throws the Ghost Blade down, relentlessly pursues away.
Farming very well here, Rymeister. He's been taking literally anything that's in front of him.
Just accelerating himself.
Yeah, well, he's getting closer to that 2-item stage. Looks like a Void Staff, honestly, might be a death cap.
Oh my god, the culling just going to eat right through him. There's the piercing light as Raze has to get out of there. Doesn't get the knock up, does Juves. As Regret is going to stun him up. There is so much damage on this Lucian, my god. And so much mobility.
Yeah, 4-0 right now, Raze with that red buff. I'm not sure what Juves was thinking, but a giant disconnect between him and Rymeister, who had no health, forces him back. And honestly, Sybil's being there is actually the presence that forced the Orianna to run away. And as Direwolves, they bite back one more time. And now they're starting to push their lead further as turrets fall, and another Drake appears.
Yeah, Ocean this time around. So really mixing it up on the side of the dials this time. It's what they're thinking. Of course, Sin back up as Chippy's well and truly getting the better of this one. There's the flash, but Leaf Strike's going to be enough. Chippy's holds onto his and just dives the troll under his turret.
Yeah, lots of damage now, and he's got that Cutlass, so a bit of extra sustain. There is no trade for Squiggle there. The Titanic Hydra, whilst it'll help in a bit of team fighting and be somewhat acceptable in a split push with that wave clear that he needed, it's not going to be enough to fight against Chippies on this Jax, and he is rapidly accelerating. His Raze is pretty much dead.
He's trying to dodge out of the way. Oh my god, the Shockwave Distortion combo does so much. Dissonance, sorry. As Fantix is going to stop his day. Chippy's there as well. As both of them make their way in and take down the kill. They might even be able to grab this inner turret.
Oh, they will 100% grab this turret
But
on their
yeah.
way out. And Direwolves grow that lead further as a teleport now on the top.
Yeah, so
Squiggle.
Gold Card comes in. There's the pillar, though, as Fantix slowed down, knocked up by the tidal wave as Chippy's jumping back in, flashes over the top, Raps not going to get stunned, was very lucky not to, as Fantix now looking for another picker card. There's the gold, as Juves wants to tunnel on top
has
and
no
pick up the
flash.
kill. Yeah,
The
he
man's
ain't getting
dead.
out of here. As Squiggle's going to lock that one down. So overstaying their welcome a little bit, the Direwolves, but they got a turret. Regret's gone 1v2.
Definitely overstaying his welcome, but you know, just kind of pushing his luck. They're resetting waves on turrets and stealing what they can on the opposite side of the map. Remember, of course, the ocean fell. So a lot of positives to be seen from Direwolves throughout these fights.
Yep. Dragon, of course, falling down in the meantime as Sybil was able to solo that one out by himself. And this mini wave is going to die as well. Regret saving Raze, does have a big shield. Look at that piercing light. I mean, I thought that got nerfed. What the hell?
There's a Trinity Force. He's huge. 2 big items completed from Raze on this Lucian should actually set him up nicely. He's very far ahead.
30% cooldown reduction now as well with that change. Very scary. We'll see what he decides to go for as item number 3. I think that's where it gets exciting. And I know he's probably not going to get a Dust Blade. The idea excites me. Sybil looking for his Rallies, and Chippies has finished his Blade of the Rowan King. He is well and truly the split-pushing monster that the Direwolves needed.
He can commit to that cause as well quite heavily. His damage is ridiculous, honestly. Sin. They do have a Trundle, so as far as split-pushing prowess is concerned, that's usually the expert, but you don't really want a piece of the champ when it comes to this.
Almost has his Iceborne Gauntlet. See whether that helps him kite around the Jax potentially, but seems sticky.
At this stage is the damage control gauntlet because you want a Randuin's or a Frozen Heart to actually reduce attack speed from the Jax.
Yeah.
Blade of the Rowan King and Trinity Force now give a ridiculous amount of attack speed between the two of them. Because he needs Iceborne Gauntlet for wave clear, it feels like that's just the only option he has. Alright.
Right now it does feel like Sin are just on damage control around the map. 6,000 gold is approximately the lead here for the Direwolves, with what has honestly been their comp of choice. Twisted Fate for Fantix, definitely what he wants. A sort of carry top laner for Chippies where he can split push all day. He's got one of those. And Raze has, of course, always loved Lucian. You can nerf him all you want. He probably still wants to play it. However, Sin still relying on Rymeister. What is that trading? Big. I guess is probably what it is.
Yeah, it's positive trading for Chippies. You would imagine he has a fair bit of sustain with that blade. Didn't even activate it. Didn't use anything besides his Counter-Strike. And once he gets those stacks up on his passive, you can afford to make trades like that all the time. You will usually win them. Sins still need to get something done, though. The onus is 100% on them to make the play. The Direwolves are running them around now, even putting TF in that side lane.
Juves doesn't have to tunnel his way out, but he's going to do so. Not going to get stunned up by Regret. As Chippy's once again jumping on top of Squiggle. These trades, the short ones especially, just look so easy for Chippy.
That's a scary thing because he can short burst trade against the Trundle, but the prolonged trade's usually where the Jax excels.
It's like it only gets worse from here.
There is no better, yeah.
Juves understands that this is a problematic point. Chippy's doesn't look like he cares that much about 2 people instead of 1.
No, but him being here is enough of a presence to force that wave. Unfortunately, the numbers mismatch elsewhere could cause some issues.
Yeah, Culling immediately cancelled there by Raze as he gets the Arcane Shift out of Raps. Ball comes down. Raps is going to be able to at least clear out this minion wave, but the 1-3-1 is most certainly on.
Yeah, and sooner or later these turrets will fall if they're allowed to execute on this.
Well, flash out immediately. Regret gets himself to safety. As you can see, Raze well and truly under the turret. And Twisted Fate still unanswered. Sin decides that they want to break this outer turret in the mid lane. But aren't able to push up effectively enough.
You know, of course, Karma with a lot of wave clear. Mantra Q diffuses that. Fantix can't afford to push any further because there's no inner turret for him to take anymore. So he's just going to hang out. He's going to have a fun time on someone as maybe stun up Rymeister and run away pretty quickly, but no, he just wants to run away quickly anyway.
Yeah,
You can't fight him.
Doesn't want to bite off more than he can chew. That is a Ravenous death cap. Rymeister's pretty good.
Yeah. Fantix is controlling waves now. That's what he's about. Rymeister does have flash. Depending on this card pick, yeah. I was going to say, if that's not a gold card, I would have flashed forward and killed him.
Well, as it wasn't to be the case. Yeah, you can see it in his eyes.
Oh, Rymeister is, I'm not going to say predictable, but he is my kind of mid laner.
Predictable by one that would make similar choices. Blasting one now picked up, so going for that classic trinity of items as Juves gets stunned up by the Cocoon, tries to tunnel his way out as the Culling comes in. Ray's not able to follow it up though. Rogue able to add a heal to Juves.
And overstaying is welcome without a recall yet, honestly. Raze needs to go back, maybe get some resets on that mana bar. They will still able to play this one slow. The 1-3-1 they excel. I even mentioned that in the drafting phase. It's a Jackson and a Twisted Fate. Chippies maybe not want to tank those turrets and things will be better for him.
Yeah, definitely not. There's the counter-strike. Chippies has to flash away from the knock-up. The Subjugate still doing damage. Leaps to a ward and is going to be okay. Alleviates some space on the map for Sin. We'll see what they decide to do next, as this next Mountain Drake is up in 14 seconds.
And it all started from tanking the turret, Mr. Chippies. Of course, does have his teleport. So can be in a fight if it comes to it. Even the rotation from Fantix now for wave clear, understanding what Sin want to get done, and knowing that the Drake is up and available, they can rotate super quickly instead of needing that Twisted Fate ulti. See how they play this one out though, Direwolves, because they could push or they could fight.
Well, there's a teleport available from Chippies. He's just walking over now, but this looks like it's done. Destiny's come out as Fantix looking for his way in. Squiggle going to get caught. There's everyone on top of Fantix. They pile in. He uses the Zhonya's that he just picked up, and now Chippies right in amongst this fight. But this is not what the Direwolves comp is built for. They do allow Sin to disengage.
And Fantix did not get the Zhonya's off in time, but he thought he was going to bait out an Orianna shockwave that never came. And the Direwolves, they still have the inside track here towards the turret at the very least, so it is a trade.
So both got a Mountain Drake now. Thankfully for the Direwolves, they do have an extra couple of dragons on top of that, as that pillar was very close to singling out Fantix. They all are here pushing up this mid lane.
And Sinner, it's kind of like a Yasuo composition where you say that they're Malphite reliant, but Sinner kind of Rek'Sai flash reliant at the moment, because not only is that their primary source of engage, it's where they couple a shockwave with it. Not having that available means their team fighting could be lackluster. Rymeister, of course, can hit his own godlike shockwave. It's not a necessity that he has it.
Yeah.
But the free gift isn't there. Yet, a free gift of a turret is.
Most certainly, they just tanked that one up. Squiggle with the help of an Oriana shield. Will be absolutely fine. Chippy's back to his split push. Dials continue to try and get some pressure around this map. Of course, the top lane pushing back in favor of Sin.
He's obviously huge, right, Master?
Yeah.
Still ahead of the clock, of course. Fantic's no slouch in that respect, but that's a lot of items that all of them have. But you always now, like, it's hit the point where you just look at Oriana and you say that shockwave could be everything. Jax is not a tank. He's a split pusher, so if he joins a team fight with Sybil, who's not a tank, he has a Rylai's and another Giant's Belt, like, that shockwave can 1v5.
It can also not hit anyone.
Absolutely.
Very scary.
Jax can jump around and dodge it, maybe have a flank. There's a zone use on the Twisted Fate. There's also the repel from the Elise. So yes, it could 100% dodge it. Point remains, if it does connect, people are going to have a bad time on the side of Direwolves. Sin have got that last hope, and it's not that they're far behind either. They are pretty far behind, but they seem to be feeling all right.
Yeah. Well, you can see Ray is super far ahead as far as farm is concerned. Phantom Dancer was picked up third. Let's see what he decides to go next.
There's just not that much farm on the map.
Yeah.
3 of them have 280 plus CS at 29 minutes.
That's insane.
And then I checked Sybil. I was like, surely they're just stealing jungle, and he's 40 ahead.
Even regrets double the CS of his opponent. This Dial's just going to start off the Baron.
Ezreal ult will spot it.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage. It's going to help out taking this Baron down, to be honest, because it's going down very, very quickly. Teleport is coming in from Chippies. This Tidal Wave is going to be avoided by the Jax as he turns up. They do lock it down. Juve's right in the pit now as well. He will get stunned up. There's a Shockwave on 4. That is gigantic, but Rymeister's going to get it turned around. Fantix just Zhonya's is in the back line, and Ray's dancing around the outside of the fight. Flashes forward. Has the heal. Rogue is going to get taken out as Direwolves navigate that fight so beautifully, and Raps cannot do anything as the triple kill comes in for the perfect mid laner. Direwolves, so impressive.
And a massive ace for Direwolves. Nobody actually dying is the scary thing. We do need to see a replay for that one, honestly, simply because I think the Oriana got exhausted by regret and actually would have just been the clutch king in that team fight. Those health bars say it all. And Direwolves, they look really impressive in game number 1.
So impressive. The inhibitor is going to fall. Inner and inhibitor turret in the mid lane also fell down. Jax is saying, well, I can take down turrets like nobody's business. I'm going to do it right here as well. So they take 2 inhibitors, 3 turrets, and the Direwolves are looking so far ahead.
Yeah, at this point in the game, it's just a recall. Get more items, secure yourself as much as you can in gold, and look for that last team fighters. Fantix is here, the bottom lane turret.
Replay out of 10. Fantix is able to take down that inner turret. So that is another one that they're able to pick up. Now everyone heading back in. Baron buff now on top. That's an outright Infinity Edge that Ray's built up there. And an outright Void Staff for Fantix. Decides he doesn't want it. He wants a hat instead. Hat and a cane to go along with those couple of swords, the stick, and some weird time clock. The man is pretty well off when it comes to items.
Also known as an hourglass, but yes, the time clock is seemingly what he has.
Somewhat related as that's Guardian Angel here for Chippy. So Direwolves went back and spent a heck of a lot of gold. They are ahead by about 16,000, which would probably do that. Squiggle, not sure what he's going to be able to do to raise here, as there's the Shockwave onto one target, but he's able to get out. True Shot Barrage even connects, but it's not going to be quite enough. The shields from Regret are doing some work, but the AD carry now has to be very careful. Nice bubble as Fantix is Zhonya'd in a very awkward position and gets shut down by Squiggle. However, Chippies is attempting to win the game.
Yeah, so they know that Chippies isn't going to be there. Direwolves at the moment are actually just suiciding to try and stop recalls, because yes, Chippies is going to try and end the game. He'll get 1 turret, he won't get anything further, but a 1-for-1 in terms of turrets for kills, you'd say pretty good for Direwolves.
Yep.
I will say, for what it's worth, that is still the signs of Sin knowing that they can fight, picking numbers advantages, working with the strengths that they have. It's just that they're too far behind by this point already. That's welcome to your moment, Raze.
Yeah, it's just a bit embarrassing, isn't it? As there's another Infernal Drake.
It's up in a second. There we go.
There he goes, right in there. 30 cents CDR,
And just 2 hits with, basically.
did not last long. Powered recall once again, going to get them back home as Raze. We'll see whether he decides to go for a last Whisper item. Or maybe something
Might be a
defensive.
BF sword. We'll find out.
Yeah.
He's waiting for it.
I hope it's a BF sword.
So do I, because that says a lot about him. It won't be.
But it is going to be a BF sword item because I bet your bottom dollar that is a bloodthirster.
We just didn't have enough money. Otherwise, it would have been. To be frank, no, I agree with the Vamp Scepter, to be honest with you. You got poked out a fair bit there and couldn't get back into the fight. Couldn't help out. And as a 5-in-1 Lucian with most of the team's gold, in comparison to the 80 carry of Sin. You want to be in these fights? You can't just get zoned out by a shockwave connecting. Raps also needs to get boots.
Yeah.
Brown leather bags just aren't cutting it.
See now Direwolves move their pressure towards the bottom side of the map. It's feeling pretty clinical right now. Direwolves continue to move around this map. 33 minutes into the game and Raze is going to find Jews. And I don't know why you'd want to set up a trap for that, because my god.
Yep, now he's got lifesteal, he's got all of his health back again. Still threatening to end the game here.
And
However,
the life of Raze. Continuing to poke out. Tidal Wave is going to be avoided due to that Mantrid shield from Regret.
Look at Chippies. That man is on a mission, and right now that mission is about to pay off. Raumeister is caught in a predicament where he probably just can't hit his shockwave on the right targets. He's going to be the one-hit wonder.
We'll have to do it with a Jax on his face, I think.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is the one chance they have, otherwise it's just lights out.
Rogue in trouble. Bubble is not going to land. As now Chippies just wants to kill him. The exhaust is down on the Jax as well, but he is going to wait that one out. Flashes, gets the counter-strike stunned. As now Squiggle's going to be the next target. They've got so much damage on the side of the Direwolves as Raumeister just gets exhausted because Regret feels like it. They're going to take down the Nexus turrets. It's a decent two-man shockwave. Nice double knock-up comes in as Raze is going to die at the end, but it's too little too late and the Direwolves just too far ahead.
Yeah.
What a game.
That's exactly what it was. Too little, too late. We saw glimpses of what Sin were capable of doing there. The end result is still the Direwolves get an early game lead. They work around the map really efficiently with Sybil, and through that lead, they secure themselves a pretty simple game one victory, honestly. It just came down to the execute.
Yeah, absolutely, and it worked out very, very well. But we are going to throw it back to the analyst desk to break down the Direwolves' victory.
Thank you so much, and an impressive victory at that. Direwolves come out with a great 1-3-1 comp, and honestly, from minute one, just dictated the flow of the game to Sin.
Yeah, completely agree, especially Fantix on that Twisted Fate pick, really showing why a lot of teams choose to target ban that one away from him, making plays all over the map, despite missing that one cannon creep.
And you know, we got to see a Lucian in this game, Frey, one of your personal favorite champions. What did you think of the build?
I think it's very interesting. It's just getting attack speed earlier, but yeah, I still think Cleaver and Yomas is pretty good, but I do see how Triforce could have a place.
And you saw, you know, the Baron fight where Frey's flashing over the wall aggressively going forward. Is this another King / Raid / all the other young aggressive AD carries?
Yeah. I mean, definitely the ADs are like a lot more aggressive now, but that's just one of the perks of Lucian. Like if you're playing Caitlyn and you do that, you're probably just going to die and look really silly, but it's Lucian, so.
Yeah, so in the end, they are able to make it worse, but I do want to go back to the composition. You know, we're seeing these Trinity Force users. They have a Jax in this game. They're going up against a Trundle. You know, you could see the windows that he was able to trade in just superior, and they augment it all with a Karma. A support I'm very passionate about, but you know, I'm a host here, but what is it that's so good about Karma right now in 1-3-1 Frost?
The big thing about Karma is that she effectively is going to augment movement speed. Again, movement speed has been touched on the mid-season patch, and so anyone who can augment it, Sivir and Karma just infinitely got kind of pseudo buffed. And then the idea is that if you have Jax in one lane, Twisted Fate in the other lane, and then Karma just sits with the three people, anytime the enemy team tries to engage on Karma, she just backs them up. But it does that so much more effectively than a Sivir, because you use a Sivir in a very similar composition simply because of the cooldown window on your speed up.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that she gives your AD carry some much needed wave clear if you have a weaker lane or if you're going to go into these 1-3-1 situations. And we saw that time and time again, them just pulling Sin Gaming around the map, and it all came to head at that Baron that they were able to get. But what was it about Sin? Because they just looked like they were one step behind. They weren't really able to make any proactive moves that game. Was it, you know, just weaker matchups, or do you think it was the Orianna pick? I know that you're not a huge fan of Raumeister's Orianna.
That is putting it very lightly. Like, Raumeister can play Orianna, but the thing is Orianna is just a weaker Azir, a far weaker Victor. Like, think about that big Baron play when she hits that massive shockwave on multiple people in the backline. everyone wants to go, oh my god, the shot, oh my god, it didn't do any damage. If that was a Victor, Chaos Storm, or a laser, they all would have died instantaneously. But Oriana's like, whatever. The other thing is like in itemization for Victor versus Oriana doesn't really have a good mid-game power spike. She's kind of a 3-item mage, almost like a bridge point to a lot of AD carries, whereas Victor, like, he can upgrade that Hex Core really early, he can run around mid-game and just destroy people, augment his build in multiple different ways. So I just think that there's not a lot of options for her. She just seems B tier.
And it looked like Sin in general, maybe just with an older school composition there, Frey. You know, they have the Trundle against like a Trinity Force user that's just going to outtrade. You know, they have an old school mage versus someone that's very in the middle right now. Is this another case of, Oceanic teams just not keeping up with the current patch? Because it is a first day on 6.11.
Yeah, I definitely think that's because it's just a comfort pick. Like, I can't see why Oriana would be better, but it also comes down to the fact that Twisted Fate just denies the TP on the other mid laner, and he also just has an inbuilt TP, and that just makes Sin like so much harder to catch up. They have to be one step behind almost all the time.
Well, they were one step behind the entirety of that game, and Direwolves were able to take it in 34 minutes. However, Sin do get a chance to hit back. Don't go anywhere, guys. 3.5 minutes. We'll be back with game number 2 between Sin Gaming and the Direwolves.